Right, so I apologize sincerely for the little difficulties that we suffered as regards Koku Bako's microphone. Now, before he goes on, let me just read about 2 messages to you, and then we hear him complete his comments. Now, YK Ansanyebwa says that it looks like Koku believes the police and BNI will drop the charges against him because of the same corrupt system we have. Hence, even trying to deny the caution the police gave him and the police put out there to the public. Professor Koku Asare says that the president was correct in calling for the repeal of the law on causing fear and panic in 2018. In 2011, that law is antithetically and to the freedom of speech. Yeah. To the freedom of speech. Freedom of expression is not about pleasant speech. It exists to protect reckless speech, especially of the political variety. We must stop trivializing the law on treason. Speech, no matter how rambunctious, does not rise to treason unless there is a clear manifestation of intent and high likelihood and immense high likelihood and imminence of war or coup. Koku's speech is reckless, but neither treasonous nor likely to cause fear and panic. Well, let's see if they keep likely to cause fear and panic in the courts, whether a judge will say it is likely to cause fear and panic. Yes, Koku.
I've been wondering why the police are now, we went to court to take an order to...
A warrant to search.
And also until this electronic is full.
Right.
Maybe they are looking for some linkages.
And that was after they had searched him.
Maybe they are looking for some linkages. Well,
okay, too bad, Koku. I'm told that we still have a difficulty working Koku's microphone to be able to have him to speak. There are messages that I can read, I can share with you, and then also get my guests, other guests to finish up their comments. But Koku definitely will have to finish his presentation on this matter. Benjamin Osei Jamra sends this, as always, from Edinburgh in the UK, that I find it hard to understand when journalists like you make comments like, quote, the police were heavily armed at the time of arresting Koku Anyidoho, unquote. So that in itself creates some kind of problem. Police always have guns with them, even when they are roaming in town. Moreover, was the person arrested, maltreated by the police at the time of arrest? These questions should rather engage our minds rather than creating the impression that the police should not even carry anything when engaging in an arrest. Okay, so your comment is about my take, which I did. Okay, that was my view on my take, so thank you. Musa Abator in Kumasi says that, for me, government is wasting its time on Koku. The charge is a non-starter to begin with. It's significant to indicate that seizing his essential electronic gadgets is going to be a cost 90 work, because nothing would come out of it. If somebody declared genocide and walked free, people who said worse and gone scot-free. Okay, people said worse and gone scot-free. Okay, Ghana deserves better. McDonald Bruce Accra says the time has come for youth of this country to stop giving politicians the opportunity to use them for all the wrong reasons. Any politician who makes reckless statements and engages in any corrupt act should face the law alone. It is a shame to be used for all these useless acts for only 10 Ghana cedis. Alhaji Ilyasu in Tamale says that if there is anything the NDC and their cohorts can do, if it is to rebuke Koku for his bad conduct. He's gained notoriety for vulgar and foul language. Remember, before the 2012 elections, and how he dared and warned Nanado not to make any wrong move. Eja Adam says, your man recklessly goes on rampage, boastfully, arrogates certain powers he doesn't have to himself by stating emphatically that he would oust the constitutionally elected president. of the Republic. And when the long arm of the law grips him tightly, you label same as political harassment. Spike in Cincinnati says that I think Koku Anyidoho was treated with kid gloves. He should still be behind bars by now. His comments are bogus. Sofo Yamuza in Kumbungu says that Mr. Koku Anyidoho must be made to face the full rigors of the law. This will serve as a deterrent to future political leaders who think in like manner. Okay, so thanks for those comments that you have sent in. All right, okay. Whilst Koku's mic is being fixed, I will now perhaps get Sammy to say something briefly in a minute or two to wrap up his comments about this issue, and also the fact that President Mahama had to say that the way he was handled was not the best. Actually, you know, went at the president. He said, as a party that prides itself in the non-criminalization of speech, with a self-acclaimed human rights activist as president, the arrest of Koku Anyidoho with armed men in the middle of a press event is obviously disproportionate. More so, the high-handed police response to innocent citizens waiting at the CID headquarters is condemnable. Some say this is the only part that the president saw to condemn. That is so wrong. For someone that in his time, when Kennedy Japonda was being dealt with, and President Kufuor sought to urge, you know, measured response to how he was being dealt with, saying that there was sledgehammer being used to kill an ant, President Mahama had cause to say that a bulldozer rather is what would be used.
So thank you very much, Samson, and I hope that my mic is working.
Yours have been working.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate that Kweku's mic is.
Yeah, he'll come in briefly. So quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly.
So quickly, the point has to be made, Samson, that, and I emphasized this at the beginning. The chief executive officer of the NDC, as we speak, per the NDC's constitution, is the Honorable Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Johnson Asiedu Nketia has spoken for all of us on this matter. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, really, is just former president. We are yet to elect a flag bearer for the 2020 elections. So I want us to get something very clear, that the party distanced itself. The General Secretary did that on our behalf, on everybody's
so
behalf,
you disagree with Koku's interpretation?
John Dramani Mahama. And Johnson Asiedu Nketia did that even before the arrest of Koku. So it wasn't as though because Koku had been arrested. Yeah. So let's get that.
Persons like Mahama Yarega, Spio Gabra have all made comments to suggest that, look, what the two of you have sought to say, except that you have not gone beyond saying
listening to Koku,
condemning.
Listening to Koku Anyidoho himself this morning, he says he spoke in his individual capacity.
Right.
He was not speaking on behalf of the party.
He denies that the party dissociates itself from him.
Yeah, but he also says that he spoke as an individual, not as Deputy General Secretary.
Your clarity contradicts what he said.
I mean, but to me, to the extent that our chief executive spoke on behalf of all of us, it covers everybody, including His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. But there are two quick issues that I must raise just in a minute. The first one is that I think that we'll be remiss, we will really be unfair to the victims of the police brutalities of the night of Tuesday. Koku Anyidoho has praised the police for their professional conduct in how they handled him when he was in their custody. We commend the police for that. However, I agree with Amnesty International and others who have had occasion to comment on their conduct. Yesterday, I and a number of colleagues, including former appointees and members of parliament, went to visit in Shiradazi, a young NDC activist, a female who, when the police started, according to her narration, when the police started pouring hot water, she decided to take to her heels. She fell down. Police confronted her. She said, "Oh, I'm leaving. I've seen that you want us to leave here, so I'm leaving." And then somebody, a voice said, "Shoot her, shoot her." This is a lady who was down already. And they shot her thighs. She was admitted at the Ridge Hospital. She was discharged only yesterday. We went to visit her at home. I have heard the narration of Latif Idris, your colleague from this network.
Right.
I'll be visiting him after this show. Latif Idris says that he only sought to ask a question. And we all know that Latif Idris, I've been following his report. It appears to me that he's your security reporter. So the police should know him. Even in the Operation Vanguard, I noticed that he's embedded in the Operation Vanguard. He brings us exclusive reports, from the field. So the soldiers, the police should know him. And how he was brutalized. So we shouldn't speak today as though the general police conduct was professional. I think that they may have been professional with Koku inside, but on the outside, how they responded to the crowd control measures, it was excessive, it was high-handed. And to even hear from the young lady in Shiradazi yesterday that the police, nobody in the police hierarchy visited, that she's taking care of the bills herself, her family is taking care of the bills. I was disappointed. I thought that the police should at least go visit her and visit Latif Idris as well of Joy FM. And because you see, we are partners.
Right.
The police should not create gaps.
Okay.
Final point, 30 seconds. I listened to my brother, Dr. Okoboy, and I think that we have to, and that's why in my earlier submission, I did not want to engage in just the unnecessary, equalization and all of that. And I want to submit that we have had instances in history where, in very recent history, where the police just ignored, national security ignored. For example, 23rd April 2013, the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta said at an event that Ghanaians can cause a revolution with our lack of outreach. It was reported in the Daily Guide that day that the CID may go after him, but they didn't. Yesterday, I saw a tweet from Ken Ofori-Atta, current finance minister. Then, yes, 23rd April 2013. Then October 31, 2015, Samia Uku posted, and I quote, "By her posture and utterances, the EC boss is setting the stage to deny the youth and the people of Ghana a new and credible voters register for the 2016 elections. We will not sit down for a future to be toyed with. The cost of a new credible voters register is cheaper than the cost of violence. Guess it's time for the youth to arise. We cannot afford to fail the masses in 2016. Youth revolution imminent," unquote. Youth revolution imminent. The police decided to ignore, national security ignore. Even all die be died. Some people thought that there should have been some, reaction. They were ignored. So I agree that sometimes it is even the response and how it is done that rather brings this to because before all of this, I hadn't heard the statement.
All right, thank you. Thank you. And the statement he refers and attributes to Ken Ofori-Atta was reported by a number of news outlets, including the Daily Guide, on the 22nd of April 2013. In fact, the Daily Guide report was "CID Chase Ken Ofori-Atta." That was the headline, and the lead paragraph was that the Criminal Investigations Department, CID, of the Ghana Police Service is dusting up plans to pick up Ken Ofori-Atta for interrogation for purportedly inciting civil unrest in the country. And they said that this plan is born out of a warning by Mr. Ofori-Atta that, quote, "Ghanaians can cause a revolution with our lack of outreach at the current dire socioeconomic situation in the country. Daily Guide has learnt."
Lack of outreach.
Yes.
No, we don't, you see,
yes, and thank you. Let me go to Koku now. And again, you see, sometimes it's difficult. This political, you call it what? Equalization thing. But you can't help but go back and remind these politicians about what goes on. I remember when they let my vote count people went on the streets, and the police brutalized some of the people there. Yeah. Some of us had concern, had cause to criticize the police for it, and the NDC, as were in government at the time, didn't agree with some of us. In fact, there were verbal attacks that were attacking the police. Now here we are, similar things are happening. So let's keep in mind, let's keep in mind that these institutions will remain. Yeah. And if they do wrong things and we don't speak about them, we will live to suffer them. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Consistency. Where are thou? Consistency. Where are thou? I'm glad it is some historical recollection. Koku Anyidoho said this, Professor in equalization.
You know, I do it reluctantly. maybe you are very zealous.
And he has tempted me so much, but I would avoid the temptation.
It's good.
Top NDC members who made very explosive statements and were also not touched during the Kufuor administration. Tony Edu, Victor Smith. Plenty, and I brought them here incidentally. I brought those statements and all those publications here. I have them here. I was hoping we won't go on that path.
So that was in the extra bag.
This point, there's some very interesting thing that has happened here. Mr. Anyidoho thinks General Mosquito spoke for himself.
No, he spoke for himself.
No, he said Koku spoke for himself.
But he doesn't agree that what General Mosquito said reflects the party's position.
Yeah, he doesn't. But that's where some
that's what I find intriguing. Why the two of you think General spoke for the party?
Yeah. He's the chief executive.
But you see, beyond the General's initial disclaimer, subsequently, he rationalized and justified what Koku Anyidoho had said by saying that what Koku was seeking to do was to convince the masses when he was trying to talk about the civilian coup d'etat thing. And that if the masses got convinced, then the masses will act. Act on what? And in what manner? Because as I said, there are procedures constitutionally laid out for dealing with the president or the government, and even parliament. So if Koku was just seeking to convince the masses that there should be a social revolution, a civilian coup d'etat and the rest, and the masses got convinced, how would the masses undertake that exercise? Remove the government, go to Flagstaff House, surround the place, and ask the president to walk out?
Koku, how he concluded his statement?
Parliament?
How Koku concluded his statement? Is that not significant? He did not say they will go and remove the government. He said the president will get fed up and abandon the Flagstaff House.
But do we have that system here? Governments resign? It's not part of the constitutional injunction. Governments don't resign here. This constitution.
Does that last statement not neutralize a claim of an attempt to overthrow?
I've told you, his whole thing was confusion of thought.
Okay.
That's what it is. He was unleashed, a loose cannon, out there doing anything that he wants to do. So that's why I said ignore him. Myself, when I analyzed it, I said, come off it. But since we are here doing an intellectual exercise, I'm trying to let you see the inconsistency. If the General Secretary of the party spoke for the party, then he ought to have stopped there. He didn't have to go further subsequently to rationalize and justify the thing and suggest that if the masses got convinced, the masses will act. Act how?
Let us be sure what General Mosquito said.
Hold on.
Let us be sure what General Mosquito said. Let's play a bit of what General Mosquito said.
To link his thing to demonstration by saying that the thing will begin that day.
The most important discussion here on this.
You play
Let's hear just a bit of what.
It's true. It's not him.
Let's hear him. Let's hear Seydou Nketia.
So the lawyers will communicate to us where he's taken to, and then we will decide our next step.
Early on, we heard that he's been charged.
Well, they keep on changing the charges.
From what to what?
In the first place, they said he's guilty of causing fear and panic. Then they changed the charges to high treason. Now they say from high treason to treason. We don't know what that one means. Comrade Koku Anyidoho has been arrested. We did all we could to make sure that he will not be subjected to this brazen illegality. The enemies wanted this program to be thwarted. So we decided to leave him, continue with the battle, and when we win, nobody will keep Koku Anyidoho anywhere.
The specifics I was looking for, I didn't get, but Koku, continue. Yeah.
Yeah. So clearly, the General Secretary's subsequent rationalization justification didn't help matters, even though that too can be thrown out there. My brother makes the point about the police reaction to the crowd that masked up. Yeah, there were aspects that are not good. Same thing happened with the Kennedy Japan thing. The MPP crowd went there, but that was after Kennedy Japan had been in 3 days. President Mahama didn't see that point. The Constitution was violated relative to Kennedy Japan's being in custody. He was there 3 days. It took a court to give him the bail. Eventually, even the bail, government challenged, state rather, I shouldn't say government, the state challenged it. They went to the Supreme Court, if you recall, and they were thrown out before they went back with those lesser charges of provocation of rout, contrary to Section 200 and Section 196, one of the Act 29, and the offensive conduct contrary to Section 207, which they lost. People create the impression Kennedy Japan walked free. He went to court. He was acquitted and discharged.
I thought eventually he was bonded and cautioned for 6 months.
Yes, but people, even some of your text messages, they created the impression that he spoke and got away free. It's not true. But you see, this thing of crowd massing up as security installations has been a subject that we have discussed over and over again. When Kujun Pini was invited to BNI, MPP supporters went there. Some of us criticized it. If you recall, Kennedy Japan, the guys vandalized, the MPP supporters, they actually vandalized some vehicles. 2 police vehicles and 9 that belonged to civilians, passengers. Police fired rubber bullets and tear gas, and there were people who got injured. But President Mahama then did not see it as a disproportionate reaction. That was the point I was making. President Kufuor asked, you are killing an ant with a sledgehammer. He was then talking of the charges. The charges that had been leveled against Kennedy Japan, not police reaction in the field. And President Mahama said, then Vice President Mahama then said that we will kill the ant with a bulldozer. Separately too, what happened, the police reaction to the crowd that he says was disproportionate. He forgot conveniently. That same disproportionate reaction happened relative to the Kennedy Japan thing. That's why I said consistency. Where has it gone to? I think that we should be very fair when we are analyzing these things. Look, to be honest with you, I don't know.
But President Mahama has not supported or condemned the comments themselves. It's the handling.
Which itself was significant omission. In my candid opinion, I think that he should have made the point clear that those comments by Koku Anyidoho were unpalatable, even if to be charitable. He didn't comment on it, did he? No, he didn't.
I thought the chief executive has spoken on that.
No. He's in a different context. If he chose to talk like President Kufuor chose to talk, President Kufuor, I have a statement here. He also said Kennedy Japan's thing was wrong, intemperate. Whatever word description you want to give to it, you give it to it. Somebody may be harsh, somebody will be less.
And like the NDC is asking today that the MPP is asking today that the NDC should condemn it. During this time today,
it's here. NDC also asked the MPP to condemn. MPP issued a statement distancing themselves, but in a very mild way. I have the statement here. And then their central regional branch went out of their way to support the man. And when he was released, eventually, they held him, carried him, and put powder on him.
Jake was accused of supporting by...
Yes, and so that's why I agree that across the divide, That subculture has been going on for a long time. To be honest with you, I think they should leave the gentleman alone. In this case, Mr. Anyidoho. I feel sorry that they will taking his telephone. They may end up finding something that is so unrelated. We all are men. We all have animals in us. Maybe he's doing some extra matters, and then they go and find these things. It's all problematic.
and we hope that it won't be published.
This is the problem. The tendency for it
and I pray that Alhaji Koku will not intercept it.
It could be intercepted. Oh, this privacy matters.
Wait, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you for a minute each, and then we go.
Okay,